Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another episode of the CFTV preview show, the Chelsea Fan TV preview show with myself, Alex, and I've got Kev over here as well. You see, Kev, I got it right this time.
You got it right. I was just about to say that. Yeah.
Whenever I point, obviously, if I'm pointing in your actual direction, right, it just comes the other way on the screen.
Just the opposite way.
I've finally gotten over that hurdle, and
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many hurdles. I mean, I don't know what you call them. So many obstacles for Chelsea to overcome at the moment, mate. I mean, first of all, how do you feel? We've had a little bit of time to reflect after the Brentford game. There's no denying that it was 2 points dropped. Anyone that comes out of that game thinking it was a point gained, I struggle to understand that based on the way we managed the game or lack of management of the game. I mean, where do you stand with everything, Kev?
Yeah, definitely 2 points dropped. We should have got into the game with the right mentality, and it's just the same thing we've been talking about with Pochettino throughout the season. Like everyone keeps saying to me, you're not a biggest fan of Mudryk, but him and Sterling probably deserve to start. Why not go with the same 4-3-3 or the 4-2-1, 4-2-3-1 formation that we've been going with the last few weeks, which has kind of worked. We started seeing some patterns of play, starting to see some goals, still conceding silly chances and silly goals, but we started seeing a more fluid attacking team. So why go revert back to a five at the back? The only way I can come up with it is against Brentford. They play a similar same formation, so maybe wanted to match them up player for player, but totally baffling. When there's a team at Brentford have won two games in 12, I think, in bad form, 16th in the place. Why would you go with a defensive team? Why would you wait until you're 2-1 down to bring your forward players on to try and kill the game when you could have killed the game from the start? So just down to mentality. Where is Posh's mind at the moment? Does he trust these players? Are the players good enough? There's so many question marks being asked of this team right now. But for me personally, you have to start your strongest team. You have to start your strongest formation. And Pochettino is fiddling around too much this season, and it's costing us points.
Yeah, I suppose that was the problem last year, wasn't it? We kept rotating our starting 11. We could never have a consistent foundation in the squad, and players weren't happy because they weren't necessarily getting the game time they were looking for. And how could you? I mean, we have a squad that's far too big. I mean, that's quite an obvious problem. We've obviously trimmed down the squad. And we've still got players in and out of the team, but I do feel like the foundation is there, Kev. So, I mean, when you say trickling around with the squad, I mean, what do you mean by that? Because if I'm looking at the team, I mean, the front line seems relatively solidified. The midfield, I would say the same. And Pochettino knows which defenders he wants to start. I think there's just constant injury problems. And I think that, well, most Chelsea fans would be in agreement. Petrovic is our number one.
Yeah. What I mean by why would you? What I'm trying to get to is after the last game, why would you change the formation, and why would you change players' positions? That's what I mean by he fiddles around with the system too much, and for Enzo Fernandez to come out on the left wing in the second half, this is where I'm getting to. Why is he? Where's his mind at with stuff? I'm not seeing where he's going with the players' position in the team. But obviously, Petrovic is number one. It's blatant to see. Sanchez started against Leeds, made that horrific error once again. So Petrovic has got to start every game for the rest of the season, if you ask me. But yeah, there's been a lot of injuries in the team, but still, he still should be able to find a formula. Still should be able to find a system and stick to it, so we can get some consistency. Because throughout the season, we have not found it.
But we've had the same system. I mean, Brentford was the first time we changed system. I mean, in that sense, that was him trying to make a change for that game. And by the way, I think that change worked in the first half. But then we shot ourselves in the foot in the second half, and that's where we went wrong. For me, in the first half, it was all right against Brentford. Don't get me wrong; they could have easily scored a goal, but I think when you set up with 3 at the back and the 2 wing backs, so it's basically a 5. You are relying on a moment of magic to score a goal, and once you have that moment, you are in a great position to kick on or hold on to your lead.
Well, Alex, we had this conversation at the start of the season when he played the 5 at the back then, and it never worked. So it's just like he's still trying to find a formula, because you wouldn't just, as a manager, you wouldn't just revert to a 5 at the back for no reason. There's no reason to do that. And like you said, you're taking an attacking player out of the equation, so you're left with two attacking players in your team, really. So what I just don't get it.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. If he does it again against Newcastle,
I can't see it happening.
that is
I
not.
just
Can't
see it. I just can't see it happening against Newcastle.
Especially because we haven't even touched on the injuries, mate. I mean, we spoke before, we started recording. We got 2 new injuries with Chelsea. Ben Chilwell, apparently he's undergoing specialist medical assessment. Levi Colwell is beginning his rehabilitation program. I'm sorry, but I only just realised he was injured. So I don't know what the injury was in the first place. They're not making that very clear. And it also says that Conor Gallagher is out because of illness. So if he's still out on Monday, then we'll be missing him. And Kunku's not available. Chukwuemeka's going to join first team training, but I doubt he'll be available on Monday. And I mean, it just causes more problems. And this is where, don't get me wrong, as I said, I couldn't defend Pochettino at Brentford, but you can understand the frustrations of any manager trying to build some consistency. And then you got 2 of your starting players out injured. And Colwell, I don't think he ever wanted to play him as a left back. I think he did that because of the injury that Chilwell had. They're both back. They're both playing in their natural positions, and now they're gone again. So who plays in the left back? Who covers Colwell's role in the middle? And how do we solve that?
Well, Cucurella was on the bench against Brentford, so that's a good sign. So at least we've got a fit left back in the squad. Hopefully, he's fit enough to Badiashile. I'm sure he could come back and slot in on that left side of centre back as well.
I don't think Badiashile's available either, mate. It says on the website he's going to join team partial training for the reconditioning phase. So that tells me he's not even ready to be on the bench. This is the problem, mate. And we've signed so many bloody centre backs. You signed for 80 million. I've barely seen the guy play.
Once or twice, yeah. It's just to hit the nail, Alex. It's heartbreaking to see the mess this club's in right now, from everything across the board. The injuries, every single week we're going through the same thing. Players are coming back, and within the week they're back out again. So what kind of rehabilitation they're going through? What methods of training is Pochettino bringing to the team? Are they even the right people in the medical staff? I don't get what's going on, because it's been 2 seasons now on the bounce where we've had a number of injuries and players coming back. Are they getting rushed back? There's something not right.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, to be fair, Kev, I think this has been going on longer than 2 seasons. I remember when Tuchel was the manager. Do you remember the day Abramovich announced that he was going to sell? We were playing Luton. I was at that game. Mate, we had so many injuries. We had Saul playing. We had some really strange players on that pitch. And we ended up winning that game. I think we won 3-2. But Tuchel had a great skill of being able to manage the injuries in the squad and still pull out results. Although I will give him this, he still had experienced players to work with that weren't injured, right? And I don't feel like Pochettino has that on his side. I don't think he would have done as well as Tuchel, irrespective of that, even with better players. But he doesn't have the luxury of Reece James being injured and being able to call on a player like Azpilicueta, or having Marcus Alonso in the squad, or Saul even, who was terrible for us. But he played at a very, very good level with Atletico Madrid. He was aspired to be one of the best players in world football at one point. He didn't live up to that expectation, but he played at a certain level. And you've got players like Enzo Fernandez, who we signed for over 100 million. Before he played for, before he signed for us, he's only been playing in European football for 6 months. You had Caicedo. The best experience he has is at Brighton, and he's even more expensive than Fernandes. So this is the thing and this is why I'm more patient than most people, Kev. And actually, you're actually coming around. You might not. I don't know how you feel about it, but you definitely are coming around, because you were not speaking in this way, the way you've been speaking over the past week or so, ever since we started doing this show. Really, you talked about the process, and then you said, "Fuck that." We're not doing it. So you lost it. You were Poch out. I mean, are you still Poch out? I mean, how I don't even understand it, to be honest with you, mate, because
I've always
changed.
from the Middlesbrough. I have changed. I think I've just seen things for what they are. I was pushed out from the Middlesbrough game, and I haven't really changed. And it's decisions like against Brentford, which keeps me on that side, because there was no need to change it. Especially second half as well, putting Fernandes on the left. I think to myself, he's shooting himself in the foot on a weekly basis. As well as that, there's been zero improvement on crosses in the box. There's been no improvements on set plays. We just keep on from the start of the season. It's the same errors was costing us week in, week out. So his players on my mind. To the fact, is he really working on stuff in training? Is he working on the defensive stuff in training? Because it doesn't seem like we are.
I don't know about those points, Kev. I mean, we scored from a cross with gusto. Jackson scored a header, and then we
No, I
scored from
mean defensively.
Oh,
I mean,
defensively.
on defensive set plays. So attacking wise, yeah, we've chipped in with a number of. Most of our goals have come from crosses into the box, and we've had a few corner kicks where we've scored. But I'm talking about defending them. Like Brentford hit the post, that they scored off a few crosses. So, and it's the same thing every week. Go back to the Leeds game, a cross in the box where Shalhoub got caught on the wrong side of his attacking player. So where's the defensive structure on set plays? And go back again to Liverpool. Van Dijk scored off a set play, and then the goal got chalked off, and then he goes and scores off another set play. So it's just the same continuous pattern where we're conceding goals. Are we working on these things in training? So Pochettino, we all know tactically he wasn't the best, and he's proved that. But one thing I can say is, attacking wise, we have been better. So it's a flip of a coin. And it comes back to, again, like I said, against Liverpool game, if we had better players, would we have won that game? I think we would have. So it's a hard one to figure out, Alex, with your question there.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. There's just a massive split, and I feel like, honestly, I do feel like some of the audience misinterpret what I say as well when I back Poch. I'm not backing him because I like everything he's doing. I'm backing him because I believe over a longer period he can turn it around. And then people, what they do is they take one game, well, they take a number of games from this season, because there has been a number of them, right? And then they analyze it. They look at the smallest things and they put it into something big. And don't get me wrong, in these games, we could have certainly done better if Pochettino had done better at times. I don't think necessarily we would have won the cup final. I think the players let Poch down. I think he also let them down. But if the players hadn't have let him down in the first place, then he wouldn't have had to make those mistakes. So that's where I stand with the cup final. But yeah, they look at certain aspects like playing Colwell as a left back, or maybe pushing Enzo a little bit further up the pitch, and things like that. And these are all good points, right? I'm not arguing against those points. But what I can say I've seen with Poch and Enzo is his management of Enzo and Caicedo has consistently got better over the course of the season. Brentford, I don't know why he put him on the left. I really don't know why. But, in the first half, Enzo was okay. He was all right. And I think his performances has improved since the Villa game. You said that yourself. You thought there was a spark coming back. And we did go on a little bit of a run in that sense, But ultimately, even with the short form of consistency we've had, which is better than, the majority of the season, is still not good enough for a lot of Chelsea fans. And that brings me to the point of the players not being good enough. And it's a fact at this point. You don't finish mid-table 2 seasons in a row unless you're not good enough to finish any higher. Now, for me, I was having a conversation with a Newcastle fan, a guy called John. He's got a channel, so we're going to be uploading that at some point. And he believes that Pochettino should be given more time. It's similar with Eddie Howe at Newcastle. Apparently, there's a split about sacking him. I went, what? Who the hell else are you getting? And I don't understand it. I think it's pointless, sacking some of these managers, because you can only work with what you have. And I think that this season, one thing that's gotten better is our mentality. I think that we really do put in 100% pretty much every game, right? There's probably one or two where I would doubt the effort. Middlesbrough being the standout game for me. The players didn't give their all in that one. But, generally we've been great. Whereas last season, Kev, we went to Man City 3 times away. And we got battered 3 times, and we didn't see the players giving everything. It was pathetic.
It was awful.
I'm not seeing that this year, and that gives me hope. But then what does that tell you, right? So if we would have tried harder last season, if we would have put more of a shift in last season, we had better players on paper. We could have got more. Now we're putting that effort in, but we don't have the players to actually perform.
But it's just a massive change. Like, we've gone from good players and bad mentality, and a good mentality and average players. But some of it comes down to the manager as well. And like I said to you before, I think in some of the games, his mentality's cost us, and it's a continuous pattern every single week that we've seen with some defensive errors. Defensive errors have been massive this season. And the changes of formations, like against Brentford, some of the stuff he does, like playing Enzo in the 10, it's like we keep going over the same thing in every single week. Like we said this weeks and weeks ago, just play the players in the right position and you'll get the most joy. So Enzo's having a good game first half against Brentford, then he goes and puts him on the left, and this is why the fans are getting on his back now. And I was on his back from the Middlesbrough game, and I believe against Villa, like I said, we did see a massive change in the mentality. The players wanted to get forward quicker, we scored more goals, and it seemed a lot better. But since that Liverpool game in the extra time, it seems the bad energy's crept back. Against Leeds, it wasn't the best form, the best game, but we still got the win, and it's carried on into Brentford. And I think this Newcastle game is massive again. So it's just like a repetitiveness of the same cycle we're going through. Like, we get a bit of momentum, we drop back and lose a bit of form, and then we build it back up again. So he needs to build the mentality now and get us firing, because we're going into the money end. We've got Newcastle on Monday, which is a massive game for us to close the gap to them. And then we go again on Sunday, Leicester quarter-final, another chance to us to get to Wembley. So it's down to Pochettino to get the team firing, because for me personally, these are 2 winnable games, but it's all down to his mentality. Is he going to play the right formation? Is he going to play the right players in the right position? If he does, we might see a win.
Yeah, man. Let's go more into it with the Newcastle game. First of all, I just want to say that Newcastle have been nowhere near as good this year in terms of the league as they were last year, right? They're still playing good stuff. They're still going for teams. They're still trying. And they still have great players, obviously. But the congestion that Champions League, European football brings, and then obviously you've got your domestic competitions as well, that makes it so much harder than you realise. And obviously this being their first season in Europe in a long time, that seems to have set them back quite a bit. And maybe they prioritise that more than the league. And I suppose I can understand why. There's a lot of hype for it. But yeah, they had some really difficult games. I know they were in the same group as PSG, some other good teams as well, Milan. And ultimately they got knocked out of that competition. They've got a great manager with Eddie Howe. They've got good players. We lost the away game against Newcastle. I can't remember what the score was. I'm trying to think.
4-1.
4-1. God. So we got destroyed.
Thiago Silva, defensive error. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
just going off that game, the reverse fixture. My first experience at James's Park, and what a ground, what an atmosphere. Brilliant night out, brilliant day out, and we turned up, and we didn't believe we'd get anything from it. To be fair, but first half gave us a bit of hope. We went in that game 1-1. Sterling, brilliant free kick. The second half, same things again. Defensive errors, and a scored of a corner. Thiago Silva slipped up and he put their main man through. And it's just one of them things. It's just the same things what happened. But we did beat them in the Carabao Cup. Trippier with a late slip, which let Mudryk in, and he capitalised it and then got a goal, and which brought us through to the final. So one of them things. It's going to be a tight game. Newcastle coming off the back of a 3-0 win against Wolves. They'll be looking to get some consistency going and getting some form going. They've got a massive game against City at the Etihad in their FA Cup quarter final. So it's just one of them things. We're both in a similar position right now. We both want to get to Wembley. We're both trying to find form, both in similar positions in the league. It's one of them things he can. And I believe that Eddie Howe has got that team well drilled. He's not going to want to play the wrong formation. And this is the thing, it goes down to the manager. Us fans here, we're thinking what formation, what players are going to play, what players are going to play a position. We all know what you get from Newcastle. You're going to go with a 4-3-3. You're going to have Isaac through the middle. You're going to have Gordon down the left. You're going to have each players on the right from that. Almiron on the right usually. You're going to have Hollington, Jimenez. Who else did I have in the middle now? Usually Longstaff Longstaff.
There's a player called, I think it's Dan Miley. I was told really good things.
Oh yeah, Lewis Miley. He scored against us.
Miley,
yeah, he scored against us. As you can probably remember at St James's.
From what Newcastle fans are telling me, mate, he's got a real good pass on the ball.
Energetic.
They're really also telling me, the whole midfield's got energy, and they've got good quality as well, right? For me, Newcastle, pound for pound with us, if you look on paper, I mean, our midfield is better. It's more proven, but they have energy. They're very dynamic. I don't think we're very dynamic. And I think you get more goals from their midfield, to be quite honest with you. We should be getting more goals. Gallagher should be putting up better numbers than he has. He started to pick them up, but he should be doing better. I would say the same with Enzo. From a creative point of view, he should have more assists to his name. But he does have a couple of goals. And then Caicedo's not really a creative player. That's not what he's there to do. So, for me, the midfield battle is going to be really important. I've been told that the one area that they seem to lack, that they really feel like they need to invest in, is the CDM. They don't really have a lot of protection in front of their back line. So if we can get in the pockets, we can get in behind that area, and try and cause some problems. That would be very interesting. Which leads me to my next point, Kev. Judging on Gallagher, I mean, I'm seeing this on the Chelsea website. They're saying he's absent due to illness. Now, I don't know how long he's been out for. I don't know how long he's going to be out for. Now, if he's not available, this seems to me like the perfect opportunity to put Palmer in behind the striker to get into that space. If there's a player you want in that pocket, it's Cole Palmer. It's not Gallagher. Not for me. And then you can give Madueke some minutes, or Mudryk some minutes, or whoever on the left or right. As long as you've got Palmer in the middle, he can dictate, he can get more involved. I like him on the right, but I think this is probably a good scenario for him in that case. If, what these fans have been saying is correct and they struggle in that area. On transition, we could really cause some problems. We've got pace. Newcastle are under pressure, man. Eddie Howe, people don't talk about it as much as Poch, but, he needs to win some games.
Yeah, of course. They've spent a lot of money, invested in some good quality, brilliant Premier League players as well. They've brought in. Like I said, they've had a lot of bad luck of injuries recently, but it's just down to the number of games they've played. Kieran Trippier, a player for them, he's going to be out for a couple of weeks as well. So that could mean Mudryk down that right hand side against Livramento. We all know Livramento, a very attacking right back, likes to push right up. So there could be a lot of space for us to exploit down the channels. yeah, with Newcastle, it's just you just know what you're getting from them. And I watched their last game before Wolves. It was against Arsenal, where they lost 4-0. And they came out with a different mentality in that game, which undone them, to be fair. They sat back with two banks and Arsenal just picked them apart. Jorginho had a brilliant game. He was putting balls in left, right, and centre. He put a ball through to Martinelli and they scored off a cross. So I don't think that's going to be the same Newcastle against us. I think they'll sense that we're not very good. I think they'll want to get the balls into the box. So it'd be a total different Newcastle to the one missing against Arsenal. They'll be confident going into the game. Obviously winning 3-0 against Wolves last weekend. So it's one of them ones. Who's going to be tactically set the team up better? And what you're finding is Eddie Howe usually gets it right and Pochettino doesn't. So it's a flip of a coin. It's going to be.
That's a bit blunt, but fair enough.
Yeah, no. It's true facts. It's facts, Alex. Pochettino, he usually gets it wrong, but like I said,
well, I would argue that Pochettino sets the team up well. He just gets it wrong at half time because in the first half, mate, we're pretty good. You know, we're one of the best teams in the league in the first half.
It's a 90-minute match, and
but that's the thing. It's the second half where we let ourselves down.
He's a professional manager. You should be able to have a game plan. You should have a list of game plans. Like, okay, the first half we're going to go with the high press. The first half we're going to get balls in the box, and the second half we're going to sit back. The second half we're going to play.
Because you've got to take it from what you see. You can't just preempt.
But different formulas to each game. And right now it seems that we're going into games up at half time. Other teams are changing it. And they're getting the better of us tactically, and then he's changing it once again to try and beat it. And that's a typical example of that against Brentford. Brentford come out. They came out second half and they got balls into the box and it caused us a lot of danger. They got 2 goals against us, and what does he go and do? He switches it, and then after that, it's like one of them things where you turn around like on sand things. Like the game changed on its head again. But why is he having to do this when we go behind? He should be going out to do this from the start. He should be saying, let's go out to win the games because we've got the players to, instead of when we're going behind and them changing them. It's too late then. When we go behind, it's too late. And this is down to his mentality. It's down to his tactics. Everything's from him. So he needs to start getting it right. Because like I said, we're in the business end of the season and we need to start picking up points.
Man, I think the league's done, to be honest with you. I think it's just the FA Cup. But then, can we win the FA Cup? I mean, we've got a good draw. I mean, Leicester's a nice one. I'm not going to lie to you. And, potentially Coventry or Wolves, that could be a nice away day. I'd quite like to go to those away days, to be fair. I've never done Coventry.
Wembley. It's at Wembley.
Oh, fuck. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Keep reminding you this.
I keep forgetting about it.
Potentially, we could be going to Wembley for the second time this season. So with all the negativity, it is a bit of a positive.
I'll be real, Kev. Let's be honest. Like, be honest with me. No, I'm gonna give you a weird one. So we get to the FA Cup final.
Yep.
Right. And we lose. I'm not saying who we lose to. We lose, right? And we finish one place outside of European football, even if we don't even get conference, but we've got to the final of the Carabao, and we got to the final of the FA Cup, and we lose it with a good game, with our heads held high. You know, it's not like we got battered. Is that a positive season for you? How do you take that?
It's difficult. It'd be an average season, let's say, because the league form doesn't tell lies. The league form has been horrendous. We are sitting in the bottom half of the Premier League. I think on a week-to-week basis, it's disappointing. Some of the games are going away with knowing that we could have done more, could have got more points. But to think about it, the best teams in the league haven't been to Wembley 3 times. So Arsenal are not going to Wembley this year unless they get to the Champions League final. Tottenham are going to Wembley. There's a few teams that are doing better than us and not going. We could potentially be going there 3 times. So when you look at it from that angle, it's not that bad. What I come up with, I said, if we get to the final, we still may get European football, because if we play against a top 4 team in the final, so it could be City, Liverpool in the final, we still get that last European spot because the Europa League spot goes to us. So if we get to the final,
mean the Conference League, right?
No, Europa League. We get Europa League. So if City or Liverpool, if we get City or Liverpool in the final, we still get Europa League. So when you look at
that depends how all the English teams do in Europe, right?
No, it's always been like that. It's always been the team that gets to the final always get Europa League, regardless if they win or lose.
No.
So the winner usually gets Europa League, but if that team's got Champions League for the league position, we'll get Europa League because it'll go to the team that finished runner.
Oh, fair enough.
That's
you're thinking. I'm thinking of extra Champions League spots. Sorry, mate.
No. So that's our pass to the Europa League. So say if we play Liverpool or City in the final, they finish in the top 4, which we know they will do, we'll get the runners-up award of the Europa League. So that could be pass to the Europa League potentially. So look at it like that. 3 trips to Wembley, Europa League.
And it is a successful season, mate, because we get European football.
And then it's I wouldn't say a successful season in terms of
look, what is success to you, Kevin? What is success to you?
Success to me
don't even look at football. Think about life. What is success to you in life? What would make this year better than last year? And keep it simple.
Success is improvement. And it would be a massive improvement. Let's be real. This season would be a mass. Let's think about it. 3 times at Wembley, Europa League. So people need to obviously, like I said to you before, everyone's got their own light on the situation at Chelsea at the moment. But when you look at it like that, 3 times at Wembley, it could be a good season.
Fair enough. Well, listen, we're going to round it out with our predictions. I've already predicted mine. I said 1-1. No, I don't think we're winning. I'll be honest with you, Kev. I don't think we'll lose. I don't think we'll win. I think that Newcastle will come out to play. I can see us getting a goal. I can see us probably getting the first goal. But yeah, I just can't see us holding on to it. And the flip side of that is Newcastle will get the opening goal. How toxic is Stamford Bridge, man? And how difficult is it going to be to fight when the whole stadium's against you?
Yeah. This is the thing. It's when the fans are against that, it's hard. When the Stamford Bridge is up for it and behind the team, it's a different atmosphere, and it's like the 13th man. So they're up against it. The lads are up against it. So it's down to them now to put in a performance. And us fans, we're not stupid. We just want to see our team perform and play hard and work for the badge. And if we lose, we lose. But it's that toxic at the moment. I don't think a loss is on the agenda. I went along with a 2-2 draw. I just think there's going to be goals in it. Both teams have conceded recently a lot of goals. I think we've got goals enough. Newcastle have got goals enough. I just think I can't see either team winning. So I've gone with a 2-2 draw.
Fair enough. Well, listen, guys.
If you got one thing as well, match bingo.
I know. I was just going to quickly mention it before we rounded it out. Usually I mention it earlier in the video, guys, but we were enjoying it. So listen, guys, this video is sponsored by Match Bingo. If you haven't heard of what Match Bingo is, it is bingo with a twist. So rather than playing with normal numbers, you play with things that happen in a match. Goals, assists, offside, yellow cards, all of those different things. If they happen and you have them on your card, you scratch out your cards, and the more lines you get, the more money you win. To give you an idea, guys, this is quite nice because you're actually helping out a charity. 35% of the money that Match Bingo make goes to charity. So you won't just be playing for fun. You will actually be helping a good cause as well. You've got to be over 18 to play. Terms and conditions apply. Click the link below. Download Match Bingo. Let me know when you win, and then we will give you a shout out on the channel. All the best, guys, and we will speak very, very soon.